Welcome to the Be Smart About Art podcast, delivered by yours truly, Susan J. Mumford. This week's episode tells a real-life story of a time when my role as an artist agent saved the day with a painting commission. Enjoy. I once lined up an art commission that was a near catastrophe at one point. What happened highlights one reason why it can make a positive difference to have someone in between a commissioner and artist, namely an agent. In my formative days as a gallery owner, I belonged to a networking group that met every Tuesday morning. Members were by and large small business owners who were actively referring one another to business opportunities. Something I learned at the time was the power of building relationships, and several years into belonging to the group, I received an excellent referral from someone I'd met several years prior. She introduced me to the manager of a well-regarded hotel in London's West End. The hotel team was seeking a work of art for the lobby, and I was one of several consultants who pitched for the job. You can imagine I was delighted when one of the two artists I'd selected and put forward was indeed selected for the hotel lobby. What could possibly go wrong? Fast forward 6 weeks, the initial sketch had been completed and approved, and the hotel had paid the 50% deposit. That amount was non-refundable unless the job was not completed. Several more weeks passed, and I caught up with the enthusiastic painter to find out how the piece was coming along. It was a triptych, and he talked about how he'd been developing the idea and was busily working away in the studio. This was all excellent news. I then asked to see progress photographs, and he was happy to oblige and email those to me. And now here's the catch. He had certainly been developing new ideas, so new in fact, that they were now entirely different from what was proposed and offered in the initial sketch, and not at all what the hotel was seeking, nor was it what we'd promised. After speaking on the phone again, it became clear that an in-person studio visit was required. I arrived at the studio mid-morning on a Saturday, greeted by the cheerful artist. He was delighted with the work of art and was eager to show it to me. This viewing confirmed that he was off the mark, and that's when I broke the news. He would need to restart the piece based on the original sketch, which had been offered to the hotel. Otherwise, we would need to refund that deposit to the hotel, and his piece would never be presented in the foyer. The artist obliged, and the piece promised to the hotel started to materialize. After several more weeks again, I sent progress images to the hotel manager, who was able to share it with his team, and they were all delighted with what they saw. Soon thereafter, the completed piece was approved and the remaining 50% was paid. Thank goodness I'd originally been conservative with the promised delivery date. Although we couldn't meet the potential early date, we were still on time for the ultimately promised deadline. Better yet, the painting exceeded the hotel manager's expectations. The artist was delighted to have a happy client, and furthermore, the addition of such a commission was great for the CV. Creativity is a wonderful attribute, and sometimes it unknowingly leads one on a new journey without the maker noticing that the road has diverged. Even the most experienced of artists can experience this, so placing that objective individual to communicate between the artist and the commissioner can be absolutely paramount for success and the enjoyment in your work. Honor someone's role and let them flourish in the endeavor. Thank you as ever for listening. Stay tuned for episodes in the future and browse for previous editions. At Be Smart About Art, we're here to help you thrive in a changing industry. Art is your life. Make it your living.